1940, the attack on Norway, the new technique of invasion in action for the first time against an enemy far from German bases. Their armament, hand grenades, rifles, light machine guns. Their purpose, to paralyze key centers of command. The sea lanes are cleared by pocket battleships, destroyers, and motor torpedo boats. Then up the fjords, their batteries silenced by force or treachery, comes an armada of troop ships. At Oslo, Bergen, Trondheim, Namsos, the story is the same. Mechanization, efficiency, ruthlessness. Within 3 weeks, organized resistance is broken. Norwegian coastline is in German hands, flanking the North Atlantic with a new peril to Britain and the Western world. Now the center of strategic attention moves westward to an island little known hitherto, Iceland. For with Iceland in their hands, the Nazis would hold the keystone to the land arch which joins the old world to the new. And Iceland, 1,000 years of peace, is easy prey. Control of Iceland means control of Greenland. From Cape Farewell, bombers can reach Newfoundland in 3 hours, Halifax in 5 hours, and in 7 hours can strike at the heart of industrial Canada. But the tables were turned on the Nazis. Britain and Canada, acting in concert and using the enemy's own lightning technique, sped contingents of troops to Iceland. Among the many convoys which steamed westward in May 1940 from Canadian ports, some headed far north of the transatlantic sea lanes. As the blitzkrieg overwhelmed Western Europe, Canadians sailed up the rocky fjords of Iceland. They came as friends, not conquerors of the island people. Citizens of a great new democracy, they came to safeguard the oldest democracy on earth. Into the port of Reykjavik they sailed, bringing with them shiploads of special equipment. Scores of heavy-duty trucks built in Canadian plants, tough and rugged in construction. For a treeless land, Canadian lumber for building. For a land without coal, thousands of sacks of fuel. They came to a country warmed on the south by the Gulf Stream, but bounded on the north by the Arctic Circle. Its towns were spread along a narrow coastal fringe, while inland rose vast glaciers and desolate volcanic mountains. The Icelanders lived by fishing and sheep herding. They had never seen a soldier. They were completely defenseless. Thus, the Canadians had to bring with them every single piece of equipment needed for modern warfare. Working at full speed, with 20 hours of sunlight a day, they hauled the big coastal guns into position to command the island's approaches. At first, they lived in tents, hastily camouflaged. But against the nights of Arctic winter, they put up Nissen huts, cheap and easy to build. Soon, shore and hill bristled with tank traps, strategic roads and intersections with strong points manned 24 hours a day. Pioneer detachments built gun pits and breastworks out of stones and tussocks, for to uproot grass in this barren country is a serious crime. They laid their own lines of communication, running field telephones down rocky gorges and over bleak hillsides. They turned their gun tractors to clearing the land of its huge glaciated boulders. In 6 weeks, they had transformed Iceland from an unprotected prize ripe for Nazi picking into a heavily armed fortress. They were not a moment too soon. By June 1940, Germany had gained control of the European coastline from Spain to the Arctic Circle, and from 100 ports and airfields, she sent forth messengers of death. Stukas of sky and sea combined their strategy to pour destruction into Britain's vitally important supply ships. And German eyes turned hungrily westward in a search for new offensive bases. With Iceland already a formidable citadel, the Canadians and their British comrades labor on to secure it against the threat of invasion. In strange, new surroundings, they go through the familiar maneuvers of mechanized war. Bren carriers rush troops to all parts of the island, rehearsing against the moment when they may have to strike at a concentrated landing force, and strike hard. In such rugged country, ordinary vehicles are of little use, but the mobile carriers make light of every obstacle as they race from the hills to the shore. But with each passing week, the submarine menace grows more deadly. Swift scouts of the air search out our convoys. Bombers follow on the trail and guide whole flotillas of U-boats to the spot. Iceland becomes doubly important, for it lies a relatively shorter distance from the approaches to Britain now that Nazi submarines infest southern waters. Even with bases at Brest and Bergen, the Nazis crave a still closer base for their attacks. That base is Iceland. But those who have seen the island's defenses report that if the Germans should attack, they will meet their match. Anti-aircraft batteries sweep the skies. Coastal defense guns ring the shoreline. Overhead, the Fleet Air Arm patrols far out to sea. Thus, Canada, looking eastward from the ports of her own Atlantic seaboard, gives assurance to the people of Britain that the convoys from the New World will flow safely on. Over the horizon lies a new stronghold, watching and protecting democracy's lifeline, held by the guards of the North.
Yes?
Here's your radiogram now, sir.
Go ahead.
It reads, Re-Canadian production, Avro Lancaster bombers, confirmation effective as from today.
Okay. Hey,